A 12-volt campervan wiring system is a set of electrical components and wires that are used to power various appliances and lights within a campervan. The system typically consists of a 12-volt battery, a converter, fuses, and various switches and outlets. Here is a breakdown of the components that make up a typical 12-volt campervan wiring system. Battery. The battery is the main source of power for the campervan's electrical system. It stores electricity that can be used to power various appliances and lights when the campervan is not connected to an external power source. Converter. The converter is a device that converts the 12-volt direct current, DC, power from the battery into 120-volt alternating current, AC, power, which is the type of power used by most household appliances. Fuses. Fuses are used to protect the wiring and appliances in the campervan from electrical surges or shorts. Each circuit in the campervan has a fuse that will cut off the power if the circuit becomes overloaded. Switches and outlets. Switches and outlets are used to control the flow of electricity to various appliances and lights in the campervan. Switches are used to turn appliances and lights on and off, while outlets provide a place to plug in appliances. To install a 12-volt campervan wiring system, you will need to connect the battery to the converter and then run wires from the converter to the various switches and outlets throughout the campervan. You will also need to install fuses in the appropriate locations to protect the wiring and appliances. It is important to follow proper wiring techniques and use appropriate materials to ensure that the system is safe and reliable. Battery. The battery is a key component of the campervan's electrical system. It stores electricity that can be used to power various appliances and lights when the campervan is not connected to an external power source. The battery can be charged from an external power source, such as a campsite power hookup or a portable generator, or it can be charged by the campervan's alternator while the vehicle is running. Converter. The converter is a device that converts the 12-volt direct current, DC, power from the battery into 120-volt alternating current, AC, power, which is the type of power used by most household appliances. The converter is typically mounted near the battery and is connected to the battery via a set of wires. Fuses. Fuses are used to protect the wiring and appliances in the campervan from electrical surges or shorts. Each circuit in the campervan has a fuse that will cut off the power if the circuit becomes overloaded. The fuse is connected to the circuit via a set of wires and is designed to blow if the current flowing through the circuit exceeds a certain level. Switches and outlets. Switches and outlets are used to control the flow of electricity to various appliances and lights in the campervan. Switches are used to turn appliances and lights on and off, while outlets provide a place to plug in appliances. The switches and outlets are typically mounted on the walls or ceiling of the campervan and are connected to the converter via a set of wires. It is important to follow proper wiring techniques and use appropriate materials when installing a 12-volt campervan wiring system. This includes using the correct size and type of wire for the circuits, properly securing all connections, and installing fuses in the appropriate locations. Circuit protection. It is important to protect each circuit in the campervan with a fuse or circuit breaker. This will help prevent electrical fires and other hazards in the event of an electrical surge or short circuit. Wire size. The size of the wire used for each circuit will depend on the amount of current that is expected to flow through the circuit. Using wire that is too small for the intended load can result in overheating and potential fires. It is important to use the correct size wire for each circuit to ensure the safety of the electrical system. Wire routing. The routing of the wires in the campervan should be carefully planned to ensure that they are not damaged or exposed to heat sources. Wires should be routed away from sharp edges and hot surfaces, and should be secured with clips or ties to prevent them from sagging or becoming tangled. Grounding. It is important to properly ground the electrical system in the campervan to protect against electrical shocks and other hazards. The grounding system should be connected to a metal frame or chassis in the campervan to provide a safe path for electrical current to flow. Circuit layout. The layout of the circuits in the campervan should be carefully planned to ensure that all appliances and lights can be easily accessed and used. The layout should also consider the power requirements of each appliance and the overall power capacity of the electrical system. Use appropriate materials. It is important to use the correct materials when installing a 12-volt campervan wiring system. This includes using the correct size and type of wire for the circuits, as well as appropriate connectors and splicers. Using the wrong materials can lead to electrical problems and potential hazards. Follow proper wiring techniques. It is important to follow proper wiring techniques when installing a 12-volt campervan wiring system. This includes properly securing all connections, properly routing the wires, and properly grounding the electrical system. Improper wiring techniques can lead to electrical problems and potential hazards. Use a wiring diagram. A wiring diagram is a helpful tool that can assist you in understanding the electrical system of your campervan. It shows the layout of the various circuits and components, and can help you visualize how the system is connected. A wiring diagram can be obtained from the manufacturer of your campervan or from a professional campervan converter. Test the system. After installing the 12-volt campervan wiring system, it is important to test it to ensure that it is working properly. This can be done by turning on various appliances and lights and observing their performance. If any problems are encountered, they should be addressed before using the system. Regular maintenance. It is important to regularly maintain the 12-volt campervan wiring system to ensure that it is functioning properly. This includes checking the battery, checking the connections and wires, and replacing any damaged or worn components. Regular maintenance can help prevent electrical problems and ensure the safety of the system. Leisure batteries in campervans. Leisure batteries are a type of battery that is used in campervans to power non-essential appliances and systems when the vehicle is not connected to an external power source. They are typically used in conjunction with a 12-volt electrical system and can be used to power appliances such as lights, a refrigerator, and a television. Leisure batteries are designed to be used in a deep cycle application, which means that they can be discharged to a low state of charge and then recharged repeatedly without damaging the battery. This makes them ideal for use in a campervan, where they may be used to power appliances and systems over an extended period of time. There are several types of leisure batteries that can be used in a campervan, including lead-acid batteries and lithium-ion batteries. Lead-acid batteries are a traditional type of battery that has been used in vehicles for many years. They are relatively inexpensive, but they are heavy and have a limited lifespan compared to other types of batteries. Lithium-ion batteries are a newer type of battery that has gained popularity in recent years. They are lighter and more efficient than lead-acid batteries, and they have a longer lifespan. However, they are also more expensive than lead-acid batteries. When choosing a leisure battery for a campervan, it is important to consider the size and weight of the battery, as well as its capacity and lifespan. It is also important to consider the types of appliances and systems that will be powered by the battery and the frequency with which they will be used. Battery capacity. The capacity of a leisure battery refers to the amount of electricity it can store. When selecting a leisure battery for a campervan, it is important to consider the power requirements of the appliances and systems that will be powered by the battery. A battery with a larger capacity will be able to power more appliances and systems for a longer period of time before it needs to be recharged. Battery lifespan. The lifespan of a leisure battery refers to the number of cycles it can go through before it needs to be replaced. A cycle is defined as a full charge and discharge of the battery. Lead-acid batteries typically have a lifespan of 500–1000 cycles, while lithium-ion batteries can go through 2000–3000 cycles or more. Charging the battery. It is important to keep the leisure battery in your campervan charged to ensure that it is ready to power your appliances and systems when needed. The battery can be charged using an external power source, such as a campsite power hookup or a portable generator, or it can be charged by the campervan's alternator while the vehicle is running. Maintaining the battery. Proper maintenance is important to extend the lifespan of a leisure battery. This includes keeping the battery clean and dry, and avoiding overcharging or undercharging the battery. It is also important to use the battery regularly to prevent it from becoming sulfated, which can shorten its lifespan. Battery safety. It is important to follow proper safety procedures when using a leisure battery in a campervan. This includes wearing protective gear, such as gloves and eyewear, when handling the battery. It is also important to avoid shorting the battery by preventing metal objects from coming into contact with the terminals. If you have any questions or concerns about using a leisure battery in your campervan, it is recommended that you consult with a qualified electrician or professional campervan converter. They can provide you with more information and guidance on the best way to use and maintain your leisure battery.